You want to become a wizard at running your shotgun? Stick with me in this video and I'll show you how. With shotguns, there's not a whole lot to do other than keeping these things fed and the manipulation. When we're talking about if it's hard to use a shotgun, you're shooting a long gun at pistol distances. So as far as the marksmanship goes, you still have to aim the gun for sure. You're only throwing a shot out about that big all the way back to 15 yards, which is the common distances that you would be using your shotgun anyways. So you definitely do have to aim, but it's not that hard to do that if you look at your sights. The biggest thing that's hard about shotguns is the manual of arms and keeping these things fed with ammunition. They're different than your pistols and your rifles. Rifles and pistols have a lot of similarities, and shotguns are completely different. If you're running a pump shotgun, you have to manually run the action. But even if you do have a semi-auto, they load completely differently. So the best way to get good at running a shotgun is dry firing with dummy shells. This is going to give you a ton of reps of being able to load the shotgun. You could work on emergency reloads, you could work on support hand reloads, getting the gun fed, and that will make you a wizard. When you're shooting competition with a shotgun, the people who win are the people who are fastest at reloading. That's what takes the most time in shotgun shooting. Now you might be thinking, reloading your shotgun is highly unlikely in a self-defense context. If you have the right load, you're probably right. But in that context, keeping the gun plussed up with ammo, just in case you do encounter more people, is still a smart idea. An emergency reload, yeah, it's probably unlikely. Why wouldn't you want to know how to do it? And why wouldn't you want to be good at it? Because if you need it, you really freaking need it. So, dry fire is the way to get good at shotguns. I have these dummy rounds here. These are worth their weight in gold. The ones that I like are weighted 412 gauge shells. You can find cheap ones on Amazon that are super lightweight, but I like the ones that are weighted because it feels like a real shotgun shell. When you're doing any sort of dry fire, you need to make sure that there's no ammunition that could get in the gun. You check the gun first, you check the chamber, you check the lifter, and you check the magazine tube to make sure that there's no ammo in your room. You're completely safe with just dummy rounds. You have to be very, very careful with shotguns, especially because charging a load of buckshot in your house is a really, really bad idea. So here's some things that I work on in dry fire with shotgun shooting. So the first thing is just loading the shotgun. So I start with my bolt all the way back, my gun in a position like I was just shooting, and I'm gonna work my reload. So I have my side saddle set up the way I would in real life. I do one brass up, the rest brass down, just like this, and I'm gonna work on an emergency reload. So I would come up on target, bang, 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 bang. Oh crap, the gun's out of ammo. I take my elbow and I point it up like this. I take a round, drop it in, get my hand out of the way. Then I come underneath and plus up the gun. Just like that. Practice that until it's fumble free. It doesn't have to be blazing fast, but you don't want it to where you're fumbling shells everywhere. You want it consistent and something that you could do under stress. So after I do that, I'm gonna unload the shells from the dummy rounds. So I'm going to take this round, come out, and then the chamber is clear. With these Beretta 1301s, I just take this bolt release and you can pull up on it and it disengages the shell stop and you could unload it. And I'll work on that until I get it right. One thing that I do after I have that down is I actually incorporate just a little bit of movement in that while I'm reloading, because being able to move while you're reloading is a good idea. The next thing that you could do is never waste a rep. So do the same thing where you're emergency reloading, elbow up, in there, back on target. So you can act like you're firing and plussing up your gun after you fire. So this is a big thing. If you shoot one with a shotgun, you should reload one. If you shoot two, you should reload two. So you could be out on target, bang, bang. I'm going to reload two. Bang, bang, bang. Reload three. This will get you into the habit of, after you shoot, making sure that you're plussing up what you shot. This is a really cheap and easy way to get very, very familiar with your shotgun and the manual of arms. If you guys want to learn more stuff like this, come out to our Patriot Training Center shotgun class, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.